What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Screw It, Let's Do This podcast. I'm Therese.
And I'm Shelby.
And today we have our guest, Liv.
Hello.
So Liv is someone, you guys, that I have had the pleasure of knowing for almost 2 years now. She is an incredible trainer, someone that works out literally every single day, has the most incredible habits. And yeah, we're going to pass over to Liv to tell you guys a little bit about herself.
Yep.
So Liv, give us a little background about yourself, where you're from, what you're doing right now, all the good stuff.
I can do that. Well, first off, thank you guys for having me.
Yes.
I'm very excited to be here with you guys. Love you both. Admire you both.
Thank you.
So,
Is that back at you?
do you need me to like tap your ego more? Just kidding.
No, she doesn't need it.
Stay humble, stay woke.
So thank you both for having me. So I grew up in Northern Illinois, Chicago area, suburb, right? Everyone from Illinois just says
what
Chicago.
is it's called with a G?
Geneva.
Geneva, yes.
Yeah.
I have a mutual
Yeah.
friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most people don't know where that is, so I just say Chicago. So from Geneva, graduated high school, and then actually was going to do community college and personal train down there for a boy. And thank goodness, like my family talked me out of that, right?
If you're listening, don't do that.
Do not do that. So I only applied to one school, one college. It was UW-Madison. My mom went to UW, graduated there. My brother was at UW, and I was like, just kind of makes sense to go to UW, right?
Wow.
So I applied to one school. Thank goodness I got in. Imagine if I didn't.
But that's pretty ballsy because Madison is hard to get into.
When did you go to
apply.
school there?
I started 2014.
What did you study there?
So that's part of the conundrum. So I started doing kinesiology, and then I was like, I don't know what I would do with that. So I went into physical education. And then I was like, I don't know that I want to be a teacher. So then I started business, and that was miserable. I didn't even make it through a semester. I had to withdraw because I was so miserable and struggling in classes. Yeah. So I actually dropped out of college twice.
I didn't know that.
Wait a second. So did you graduate from Madison?
No. So I did 2 years at UW, and then Tim was in the Marine Corps, and I still had like 3 years left in my phys ed program, and he was going to be gone for 5 years. And I was like, I don't want to do distance that long. I'll figure school out along the way.
Yeah.
So I decided to take a break from school and move around with him and just finish my degree online. So I got my degree September of 2020. So it took like 6 years, but
holy cow!
I had lived so much life during that time. So we moved to Florida, we lived in Texas, we lived in North Carolina, and then was just able to finish my degree on my own time and work full time, which was nice.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
How
did you meet Tim?
At the gym at UW.
I was going to ask. I was like, was this the boy that you almost stayed for?
No.
Okay.
No. That was a different one down in Illinois.
Okay.
So Tim, I met him like 3 weeks into my freshman year, right after I'd broken things off with this boy. And Tim is actually 4 years older than me. 3 years, 10 months, but technically 4 years, right? And so he's like a little bit more ready for something serious.
Yeah.
He's a senior, ready to move on to that chapter in his life. And we go on a couple dates, and I'm just like not ready for the seriousness, right? Like we did a hike at Devil's Lake, and then he came over and we watched Blair Witch Project, and it was the most awkward second date of my life. We sat 3 feet apart. We just hugged at the end of the night, tapped, and left. And then the next day he sent me this message professing feelings for me. And I was like, pump the brakes. Not ready for this. So friend zoned him for a year. Actually set him up with a couple of my friends.
Been there, done that. I set my current boyfriend up. I tried with her.
Stop.
Swear.
She did. Yeah.
That's funny.
We always joke about that. It's funny. That gets brought up every other month.
Yeah, every time.
It's anytime they're like, Therese, make a speech for Shelby's birthday or Ben's birthday, I'll be like, yeah, well, I enjoyed holding hands with you for 30 seconds.
It's a really special moment in your life.
But yeah.
I think we've all been there. Yeah. So set him up with a couple of my friends. Didn't work out. I went home for the summer, came back beginning of my sophomore year. We saw each other in the gym again. And we had still stayed friends during this time, texted, whatever. And then saw him in the gym, and we just kind of reconnected. We would work out together, say hi to each other at the gym. Eventually,
were you like, Tim, can you spot me?
No. So that's how we met. He came up to me.
What?
Oh, we did at the gym.
So yes, and I remember what I was wearing. I had on a red UW hat or Badger hat, a blue tank top. He was wearing this striped tank top. And I'm standing by this post doing whatever I was doing. And he's at this bench, and I see him look at me, and I made really awkward eye contact. I was super self-conscious back in the day. And so I quickly looked at the ground, and I'm like, he's going to come over here. I just know it. He's going to come talk to me. So sure enough, he comes up. He was like, hey, I'm Tim. Can you come spot me for a second?
Oh,
wait, that's his move.
That was the move.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
No one's ever asked me to spot him at the gym.
Me neither.
He did like, it was skull crushers. Like I remember the exercise,
Mhm.
70 pounds for 5 reps. And I was like, you didn't need me at all.
Yeah.
You probably could have done 100 pounds. Like,
Did
what are
you
you doing
guys
over
like
here?
do the workout then together?
No.
Or was he just like,
It was literally 5
right.
reps. And then it was like, well, nice to meet you.
yeah.
Like, you know, how long have you been here? And kind of awkward, right?
Yeah.
But then how did you guys see each other a second time?
So we typically ended up at the gym at the same time. And we had a
Mhm.
mutual friend at the time who I think connected us. Like, I think that's how he got my number, I got his number. Or we found each other on Facebook and that's how it went. That
He
part
was
of the story
probably
is a little
waiting
blurred.
at the gym, just like in the locker room, peeking his head out,
Yeah.
waiting to see when you
Like,
arrived.
is she there?
I can only imagine though at what time you guys both were at the gym. Was it 4 a.m?
No, I actually used to work out in the evening.
Oh.
Yeah. And Tim
Wow.
is not a morning person.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You will not catch him up at 4 a.m. Yeah. No, we used to go the busiest time, like 5 or 6 in the evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's packed.
Wow, and you guys found each
Yeah,
other
we
through all
found
those
each other through
sweaty
all of
people.
that. I know. Well, the gym wasn't that busy back then because fitness wasn't what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't not trendy, but like people didn't care as much about their health and strength training. So it was, like the cardio section was always very full because this
We're
is
talking about
2014. Yeah.
that's
It was
true.
kind of when it was just starting to gain a little bit of traction. So the gym wasn't super packed. Like now there's lines at the Nick.
Yeah.
You have to wait in line
Wait,
for
are you
equipment.
serious?
Yes.
Well, they just
The new
rebuilt
one.
it.
Yeah.
And Callie, my employee, went and she was like, it is insane.
Yeah.
She was like, I can't even tell you like how nice it is. You just have to go like
Yeah.
check it out.
Wow. Okay. So you met Tim, who you're married to now,
Yes.
in 2014
Mhm.
at the gym. He asked you to spot him, and then you decided to follow him and travel with him while he was in the military.
Yes. So we didn't start dating till October of 2014. We kind of reconnected.
Mhm.
And then he commissioned into the Marine Corps, I think it was January of 2016. And like early on into dating, we kind of knew like, I think it was like 3 weeks into dating, he's like, I'm going to marry you someday. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
Same.
Those older boys, man, when they know, they know.
they
That's
know.
so cute.
Yeah. And so we just kind of knew and we talked about me moving with him. May of 2016, we got engaged. We were at some CrossFit regional competition in Ohio, got engaged. And on the way back, Tim was like, well, why would we, do you want to just get married? Like, why should we wait? And I was like,
Was
I
that him
mean,
proposing?
No. So he did like a real proposal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it wasn't in front of a bunch of people because I
Yeah.
do not like attention
Mhm.
and neither does he. So it's like just in our hotel room after we gotten back from the day, we just had sushi and love sushi. See? So we're on the drive back and he's like, why don't we just get married? Like we're going to get married eventually and we'll get you on better health insurance and we'll save a bunch of money. So we called officiants on our way home and
my gosh.
literally set up our wedding day. So this was like May 30th, I think. And we got married June 9th.
Wait a
Whoa.
second.
Mhm.
So you
Quick
got married in a
turnaround.
courthouse then?
Yes. Or in the Capitol, technically.
With no one else there?
We had 2 witnesses because, yeah, state of Wisconsin requires 2 witnesses.
Mhm.
Wow, that
Mhm.
actually sounds like an ideal situation.
Yeah.
Did you have a wedding, a bigger wedding?
Yes. A year and change later, October of
Wow,
2017.
that actually
yeah. But
sounds
we
like
kept it a secret. Like nobody knew that we got married.
Wait.
Until
Nobody
that
knew.
reception.
So my family found out the May of 2017. It was drama.
oh,
my
We'll
gosh.
probably
that's
keep
still months later.
Yes. Yeah. So we kept it a secret for almost a year. And I actually lived with Tim's parents
Wow.
for probably 6 months at that point because my lease had ended in Madison. And Tim was like, it doesn't make sense for you to continue to pay down there, especially since you won't be there the entire school year because we knew I'd move early 2017 with him because he was in Virginia.
Mhm.
And we decided, I'm not going to move to Virginia with you. He's going to be so busy with training. I'll just do another semester or 2 semesters, summer and fall at UW, and then we'll move the next year. So
My
moved in with his
gosh.
parents. And like, I don't know how they didn't find out that we were married. His dad was a detective. Literally a detective. And
Wait.
could have just searched it. And they would call him my husband all the time. Like, how's your husband doing? How's your hubby doing? I'm like, I would text him. I'm like, Tim, they know.
Do you know?
They know that we're married. And so then eventually when they found out the same night the rest of my family did, they thought it was hilarious. They're like, how did we not figure it out?
Wait,
I'm like,
what-
you didn't know?
Why didn't you want them to know?
I guess we just were worried that they would be like upset or think that we
Oh.
kind of rushed into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Tim's parents, so they actually, from the day that they met to the day they got married was 5 months. They only
Mhm.
dated for like 2 months and they've been married for 36 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So like we could have we could have in hindsight told them, but I think out of like respect for my family, we didn't want to just tell his.
Yeah.
And we knew that my family probably wouldn't be like the most supportive about it. And they weren't. It was a lot of drama, but obviously we've moved past it.
Yeah.
So the family found out May.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then everyone else, we had our ceremony October of 2017 and Tim's dad officiated it.
Oh.
And the ceremony was like 3 minutes. Because 30 seconds into getting up to the altar, Tim's dad turns to the audience and he's like, so if you guys didn't know, Tim and Olivia have been married since June of 2016. Tim's Nana, who is like a hoot, the row behind like parents was like, what? She's like turning to everybody. She's like, did you know? Did you know? We're like, Nana, it's really okay. But the best part about this, the week after we got married, we were staying at her house. Because Tim was going to be training like 30 minutes from their house. So she just like put us up for the week.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a peach.
Yeah, that's wild.
Cute.
That my mom, she has this hunch that I would do that, just go and get married at the Capitol. I don't think that I would. I see the draw of it, but
it was a fun little seeker for a while. And like now we joke that we had 2 weddings. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's weird. We were like, which one do we celebrate? June 9th of 2016 or October 13th of 2017?
Oh, yeah.
So what do you celebrate? Or do you celebrate twice?
We technically celebrate twice. But like I actually have a tattoo on my finger of our wedding date and we did June 9th.
Oh.
So
does
we're coming
he
up.
also have it?
Mm-hmm. And we got it for him because he didn't want to wear his wedding band all the time at work. And the silicone one like irritates his hand.
Wow.
So he's like, let's go get a tattoo.
I love
I'm like,
that.
okay.
I'm taking notes. Kenan wants a tattoo.
Yeah.
Are you going to get one?
No, I don't plan on it.
Just Kenan?
You should. I loved it.
Guys, I don't have a tattoo.
But I will
don't have
say it probably hurt the worst of my tattoo because it's just skin and bone.
I would pass away.
Yeah.
Like literally, I cannot handle a pinch.
I would
on my
do
body.
the thinnest thing in the world,
Yeah.
and I'd probably ask for white ink, and it would look like just a very serious scar.
I mean, you know it, Sarah.
I like white ink tattoos, though.
They're cool.
I can't
So
picture it. I don't even know what it looks like.
Do you have a white ink tattoo?
No, mine are all dark. So
Okay.
this was like the size of my band. So it
Oh,
just
cool.
it hides right underneath it, which is
Wow.
awesome. Yeah.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
So
How many tattoos do you have?
4.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that one hurt the most.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Because it's just skin and bone. But like this one, I just sat there, I just watched her. Meanwhile, Tim's like grabbing my hand for dear life, getting his tattoo. Sorry, babe.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, I think I got a high pain tolerance.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, so we celebrate June 9th. So we're coming up on 7 years married this year, which is
Wow.
crazy.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's one of the.
I got married at 19. I should.
Oh my!
I should
Holy
backtrack to
cow.
that.
Yeah.
That's a big part of the
There's
story.
Onion
Yeah.
layer upon onion layer
Uh-huh.
in this. Okay, and one thing I think is really interesting about Liv, we've gotten together for lunch, and she talked to me about this, but she moved around to like a bazillion different places.
Mhm.
And one of the episodes we talked about was community and finding
Mm-hmm.
community. How do you feel like you were able to cope with moving around so
Mhm.
much? What was that like moving around so
So
much?
that was hard.
Mhm.
But I've also never been one to have like a huge group of friends. I've always been like 4 quarters are better than like 100 pennies, right?
She said that in one of the episodes.
And
I
she
think in the
wasn't
community
following.
episode.
Yes.
I was like, I never heard of that. I was like,
I said I'm like a 3/4 25 penny girl.
Yes.
And Shelby's still like, what does that mean?
I've just never heard that before.
Yeah.
Okay, but now I get it.
Yes.
Now I get it.
So that's kind of me.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really stay connected with a bunch of people from high school or college. And so we kind of moved around and like Tim was like my best friend, if you will. So actually in Florida, I met this one girl named Amber and we met up once through social media. Like she reached out and asked, where I got my hair done. And so I shared it with her. We got lunch one time and then 4 weeks later, we ended up moving to Texas. But I still text Amber almost every single day.
Oh,
We've hung out once.
wow.
Just
That is
crazy.
wild.
So
Social
she's definitely
media.
she's become a good friend of mine. But otherwise, it was just finding work to do and finding a community in that sense. And the military is nice because you automatically have a community.
Mhm.
The hard thing is I didn't always relate fully to them. These are women that are having babies pretty young and like don't necessarily aren't chasing a career, which is not a bad thing, like to each their own. But I was very
Yeah.
much focused on school, focused on trying to build a career as best as I could,
Yeah.
given the circumstances. But we were only in Florida for like 7 months, I think. So I
Mhm.
couldn't really make a ton of friends. So we just kind of hung out with Tim's buddies and then their girlfriends. And I
Yeah.
just like drowned myself in work and school.
Yeah.
And then we moved to Texas. Texas, kind of same thing. And then North Carolina was where I could like really establish myself because we were there for just over 3 years. Yeah.
Isn't that where you want to be, or is it South Carolina?
South Carolina.
Oh,
They're
I've
both
never been to
beautiful.
North Carolina.
Okay.
I'm sure it's like
Almost the
Almost
same
the
thing.
same. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I loved South
Yeah.
Carolina.
Yeah,
So
you
I
lived in
finally
the
found a
best.
community in North Carolina once I actually started with Orange Theory. But it was
Okay.
hard getting there because as soon as we moved there, I think end of February of 2018, and Tim left like a month and a half later for 4 months. So I'm just here by myself in this rental in North Carolina, a brand new state, didn't know a single soul. I was actually in school for medical assisting at the time because I was like, oh, this is a route that like I can do this job.
Medical assisting, like EMT?
Like a certified medical assistant, like the person when you come into the doctor that like takes your weight, takes your vitals, that stuff, right? Takes your blood.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's an easy job to do wherever we move. Because at the time it was up in the air on if Tim would stay in the military or not. And did that. It was fine. And then I was like, you had to do an internship. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I really don't want to spend 40 hours a week in a hospital. And so I ended up working at Buckle in the mall.
I love that.
And that was fun. Like I actually got to really learn how to talk to people because it's sales and met a couple really good girls through that. And then I missed fitness a ton. And so found Orange Theory.
In North Carolina.
Yeah. But at the time we lived 90 minutes from the closest studio. So I applied. I commuted. Not 90 minutes, but I applied. The day later, the coach called me, wanted me to come in for a workout the next day at 6 a.m. So I got up at 4 in the morning to drive down to the studio. And it was Hell Week, so you know what that is.
Yeah.
So I like knew nothing about Orange Theory. I did a little bit of research, and one of my friends here, she coached here. And so she kind of filled me in a little bit. And so I get there, and Hell Week is like the hardest week of the year, if you will. And they dress up. They have like theme days. So this was like costume day or something. So I walk in, the girls at the front are dressed. One was like a superhero and one was dressed in like hippie costume. And I'm just like, hi, I'm Olivia. I'm here to take the workout. And they're like, okay, like fill out this paperwork, sit down. I'm like, all right. And then the coach is in this like full-blown cow onesie with like udders hanging out. I'm like, what is this place? And so then the workout starts and we're running inclines, like quarter mile repeats at 15%. It was like a burpee palooza on the floor. And I'm like, I love it. I'm sold.
Wow.
So here we are 4.5 years later. But most of my friends came from Orange Theory in North Carolina. And so that was a really solid community, which was huge for me finally to have that after so many years, but then really hard to leave.
Yeah. Well, was that your first fitness job?
No. So I've been a personal trainer since January of 2015. So I actually trained at UW Rec Sports at the Surf. And then I've done online stuff pretty much the whole time as well. I did some like group fitness in Texas, and then it was Orange Theory. So
okay. So I'm curious, like, where does this love for working out come from?
Yeah. So I've played sports pretty much my entire life. So
Which
I think
ones?
Soccer, volleyball,
that's intense.
and I dabbled in tennis, but not the best, and softball. But I almost broke my thumb in softball, so I said, we're done. We're done. So my parents put us all in soccer at like a really young age, probably like 5 years old. Played soccer from 5 to I think 15 or 16. Then felt like trying something new. I didn't want to play high school soccer. So I went into volleyball, loved volleyball. And then just kind of reached the point that I'm like, I don't know that I want to like pursue this beyond high school. And so decided to pause after my junior year, stop after junior year. But then I got bored and I was like, I need something to do with my time and my body, and found the gym, but it was like cardio bunny era. Running for 2 hours, elliptical for 2 hours. And then met a trainer there, and she got me into lifting, and kind of like the rest is history in a sense. But I've just always been active. Like it's very much been a part of my life.
Where does the motivation come from to even work out? Like, has it changed? I'm sure the motivation has changed throughout your life, but can you think of those different motivations?
So in the beginning, I think it was like the sports thing was just who I was growing up, and like just part of my childhood. Saturday soccer games, dad would be the coach, sister would be there. We'd do my game, go to Tori's, right? And then when I left that, it was kind of like I lost part of my identity. And I think everyone probably goes through that at some part in their life. And so I started to gain some weight, a little bit of weight, right? Like you're in high school, your body's going to fluctuate. But I went from a lot of movement to none at all, and I'm eating the same way I was. So I started to notice I don't feel very comfortable in my body. Don't like myself right now. The pressures of, high school and social media was just becoming a thing. Was starting to pop up. Right. So you start to nitpick yourself. And I've always like been very body conscious. Like my first vivid memory of being self-conscious in my body, I was like 10 years old.
Really?
Wow. Like up in front of the classroom doing a spelling bee, like in t-shirt. Like, do you remember gauchos?
Of course.
Oh my gosh. So I'm wearing gauchos, right? And I'm like, my belly. I'm like, that's so sad that I was 10 years old.
Wait,
and the gauchos.
Wait, I can't even remember. What does a gaucho look like? It's
like
flare. Like everything's flare.
Okay.
Like cropped yoga pants.
Yes. Got
I
those.
had so many, and all of mine were brown.
Yes,
anyways.
they were like
I
the
also had a
weirdest
pair of
colors.
brown. Probably the same ones. Anyways.
Justice, anybody? Justice?
Justice.
Yeah,
Ooh,
Justice
dude, when I
Limited
found
too.
Justice, oh my gosh, matching shorts,
Yes.
matching tanks.
Yes.
Mhm.
So,
That's so great.
that was like my first vivid memory of struggling with like, I guess body dysmorphia is
Mhm.
what I've struggled with the most. And that just kind of stuck with me forever. And it really hit hard when I stopped playing sports. And so a friend of mine, she got me into the gym. I started running quite a bit. And my motivation was like to be skinnier, right?
Yeah.
To be tinier. I think we all go through a phase like that.
Mhm.
So I was maybe eating like 700 calories a day. I was fueled by
Oh.
wanting to just be the smallest possible version of myself.
Mhm.
And it's so hard to like look back at that phase because
Yeah.
I'm like, how did we find our worth in how little we were? You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah.
And I would make myself miserable by not eating like all day if I think I went over my calories. I remember one time we went out to a pizza party for a friend's birthday and I just sat there and didn't eat anything. They all
Oh
ate
my-
pizza and I just sat there and like drank water.
Wow.
I'm like, come on, 16, 17 years old
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like putting yourself through this. And so then the motivation became like to become strong. When I met that trainer at the gym, she kind of showed me pictures. She like came up to me. She's like, you have a really nice figure. And I'm like, oh, thanks. That's so nice of you. And she's like, you could really compete. And I'm like, what does she mean? Compete.
Compete.
Mhm.
And I
You
was like,
did compete.
I did
though.
compete.
Oh gosh,
So,
yes.
yeah. So I was like, what do you mean competition? She's like bodybuilding, like figure competitions. And so kind of planted the bug. I went home and researched it. And fitness social media was just becoming a thing.
Mhm.
And so I found a couple pages that were like strong, muscular women. And they looked great. And I was like, that's what I want to look like.
Yeah.
And cardio is not going to get you there. And
Yeah.
so I actually started training with her. Bodybuilding.com was like my OG resource to learn all of the things. I think they're still around today, which is funny.
Wow.
So started learning a bunch about like strength training, and she took me into what we called at the time no man's land. It's like the weight room. Like women
Oh,
didn't
wow.
go into the weight room.
Yeah.
And so she finally like helped me venture in there. And so then the motivation became just like to be strong and build a physique worthy of getting on a bodybuilding stage. So that was my
Wow.
motivation for like 2 or 3 years at least.
Mhm.
I ended up competing my senior year of high school.
Holy cow.
Mhm.
Wow.
That is like
I didn't know, like, I don't know.
You
I didn't
thought
know
it was
that
a little
was,
bit
I
later
thought
in
it was
life?
older.
No.
Like, I thought you had to be older
Wow,
to do
you
that.
already
but-
are
So I
doing things
competed
at
at
a young
17.
age.
I was
Holy-
eating like 9 foods, so it was miserable. I would get up
Oh.
at 3 a.m. to go to the gym for 90 minutes, come home, get ready for school, go to school all day, go to work from like 4 to 7, go back to the gym for
Oh
2
my
more
gosh.
hours,
Wow.
come home, do homework, go to bed at like 11, reset, repeat. I was a zombie for
Dude.
5
Yeah.
months. I would eat like cold tuna and asparagus and quail. I'm like,
Oh.
why didn't someone just slap that out of my
I
head?
just
my
want to come
God.
give you a hug.
Oh my
Right?
gosh. Dude, that's so intense. Like the
Yeah.
CrossFit games were here in Madison
Yeah.
in the summer. And there's this one guy who was one of the best people. Everyone was just praising him for being an incredible athlete.
Mhm.
And I'm like, how often do you work out? And he said 5-6 hours a day.
Mhm.
And I'm like, holy cow. He's like, well, that's what, you guys go to work for that many hours and
That's
I
our
go to the
job.
gym.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
It
just
was
wild.
wild. I couldn't believe it, but I'm like, well, okay, that's why I don't look like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It requires so much commitment. And
Mhm.
sure, I got to like the leanest point I've ever been in my life, but
Mhm.
my hormones were whacked. Like I had no period for 10 months
Wow.
at 17 years old.
I totally heard that
So
before.
it's
Yeah.
crazy. And people don't consider that when they look at like these lean figures, like
Yeah.
what you have to put your body through to get there.
Yeah.
I was mentally miserable. It was my last month of high school and I was just like so focused on the gym, but also like not even mentally there. Like that last month of high school feels like a blur.
Really?
A blur. And then I became
Wow.
super food obsessed
Mhm.
Okay.
after that.
Food obsessed as in eating the right foods? or-
Clean. Like,
clean,
and it's a
okay.
term called orthorexia. You're
Oh,
obsessed
wait,
with
I've
clean
definitely
foods.
heard of that before.
Yes. And so,
Wow.
because I was only eating like steak, asparagus, tuna, eggs, broccoli, apples. And so I became obsessed with food and obviously obsessed with working out. But then the food piece like really took off. And so I felt like I could only eat clean. If I didn't eat clean, I ruined my day. And then this started turning into like binging, actually, coming off of competing.
Really?
Mhm.
And because I went from my leanest and now I like have no control over food, right? You don't have the motivation of the stage there. And so you're
Yeah.
not like, I have to stick to this because of this. You're just
Yeah.
like, oh. And then it
So
like
you went the total opposite
total
way.
opposite direction.
Yeah.
So I rebounded and
Ooh.
gained like 40 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
This is so hard to imagine because the person I know you to today is beyond all of those things.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I can't imagine like how that affected your body. Like
Yeah.
just physically, like the toll it took on you.
Yeah.
So how did you're struggling with all this. What kind of propelled you out of that?
That's the thing. I don't really know what did it because it was like 3 or 4 years worth. So this is, I'm heading into college. So you're heading into college where you want to like feel good, have fun. And I'm the most uncomfortable in my body that I've ever been, right? And struggling with binging. And then you add alcohol into the mix because it's freshman year and your friends are partying, right? So I think I had a party scene for like 6 months and I was like, I feel like trash. I don't want to do this. And continue to work out because at that point it was just part of like who I was and like what I did. It was a habit.
Yeah.
And I knew I wanted to compete again. So I competed again thinking that would fix it.
Yeah.
But I competed and followed a different approach where it was a little bit more flexible. So macro tracking, which I think you're familiar with.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard about it, but
Yeah.
So you have a little bit more flexibility in the foods that you eat. You just hit a certain set of numbers throughout the day. And that was way better for sure. But then again, you go from big to lean, and then it's like you get back to a healthy body fat. But in my mind, the body dysmorphia is like, no, you look like you weigh 200 pounds.
Wow.
Your face looks massive. I'm uncomfortable in my clothes. People are going to judge you. So then it turned into another cycle of binging, and then left college. And that kind of like played into withdrawing from school. I just like at that point was mentally not in a good place. And so I was like, I'm going to take time off. I worked for like 6 months and then finally went back to school. Continued to work out during this time as I had been. And then it was just like one day after another, or like one day at a time was kind of my mindset. I think I finally stopped binging in 2018.
Okay.
And it's when I stopped tracking food. So I tracked food from 2014 to 2018. And that was the obsession, right? I was like, I have to hit my numbers. If I didn't hit my numbers, I would binge.
Yeah.
Right?
I could see how it becomes an obsession because even when I went to Paris, I thought to myself, I'm gonna stop this. And darn, I'm in such a good track. And then I came back and I was like, you know what, screw it. Like, I'm not going to worry about it. But I felt like I learned things I didn't know before, and it helped me make better choices.
Which is ultimately the long-term goal, right? Gain awareness around food and what you're putting into your body, what's actually in your food. Like a lot of us don't realize it. Like people don't, I mean, I think we all know cheese is fat. It has fat in it.
I didn't know that.
But not how much fat is in cheese and like the fact that there's fat in proteins and like carbs in these things. So learning that is huge, but like I don't think anybody should have to track their entire life. But at this point, I didn't know that. So I'm like obsessed with tracking every single morsel in my mouth. And if I messed up or went over, I'm like, screw the whole day. Like I'm done. It would like lead to a binge. And then I would restrict my calories more. I'm like, okay, I'm not losing weight because I'm binging, right? But my brain's like, I'm not losing weight. I'm going to cut my calories back. But then the more you restrict, the more you want things.
Yeah.
So it was just this binge cycle. And I finally stopped tracking in 2018. I think it was either early 2018 or really late 2017. We were in Texas still. And I was like, I just need to be done. I tried like portion control. I tried macro tracking, like whatever I could to track food, but like loosen the reins. And I just reached the point I was like, I'm not going to track anything. I know what healthy food is. I know what my body responds to. So we're going to just say F it and go for it.
Do that.
So I stopped tracking food, tuned into my body and my hunger cues because I didn't know what a real hunger cue looked like anymore, right? I just ate because I thought I should eat every 2 hours.
Yeah.
And so that was probably the best thing for me was cutting out all of the tracking. And I think it was like 3 months into that I realized like, whoa, I haven't binged in a month. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the urge to do it. And so I just like kept going. And I'm like, dang, I haven't binged in 6 months. And then been binge free since then. And and I still track intermittently, like every now and then. I attempted another bodybuilding prep actually summer of 2019.
Really?
And then life was crazy. Like Tim was deploying, it was a mess. And so I mentally wasn't ready. And the tracking part was hard too. Because the coach I went through put me on very low calorie. And I was like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
And so just kind of moved on from that part of my life. And now I track every now and then just to bring myself back to earth and make sure I know where I'm sitting with my intake. But yeah.
I could tell you, I don't know a single thing about what I eat today.
Shelby is an anomaly. Anomaly, because when I first met her, I asked, how many cookies do you eat a day? And you were like, 2 a day or something like that. But then what I picture Shelby, she also loves the elliptical.
I do, but like truly, like now I'm so like busy, and I know it's like, okay, you make time for the gym. I know. I've heard. However, like my main like focus now, and it has been for like the last year at least, is like literally only on my business. So like I will put my health to the side. Like I really don't care about myself right now, which is awful.
We're gonna help shift that.
Like my only like biggest care in the world right now is like getting my bakery open and like good to go.
You're very focused on one thing.
I'm very focused on that. So like I'll work out every once in a while. I was in like a really good workout, like rhythm with my boyfriend over the winter. I don't know why. Like, why can boys just say, oh, I want to lose 15 pounds and do it in a month? He wanted to lose like however much weight, I don't know, somewhere around that range. So every night we were like working out. I'd lift weights with him. I was like, woo, woo, woo. And I know how to lift weights because in high school, like I had to lift every other morning. So I know how, but I just don't really do that. And like you said, like cardio bunny era, that was me. Like I used to run, like I would run like 5 miles every other day usually, but my hip, like I can't really run anymore.
I feel like that always happens with people that like to run. They get an injury and then
my hip is really bad, and like I might need a hip replacement in like the next 10 years. So when I learned that, I was like, I'm done like running because I don't want that to happen.
You should start swimming then with me.
I sink. You sink? I'm not a good swimmer. No, I'm not a strong swimmer.
You can learn. I know a swim instructor.
Let's get him on the pod.
I'm more like the doggy paddle, and then I get tired. In high school gym, we would backstroke, and I'd grab onto the thing and pull myself.
Okay.
And then they were like, Olstead, enough.
That's so funny that you had swimming at your school. Can you believe that?
Did you? We did not.
No,
we
absolutely not.
Every year we had swim unit. I don't know if they still do it now.
Honestly, suck though, because to be just soaking wet in the middle of
I don't know if
would
they
hate
do it
that
anymore because like it wasn't fun, and it's like especially for girls like having to go change, like a lot of people would sit out and then they would fail the unit, and I'm like, even then I thought like this is weird, but I think they took it out because I think it's just kind of problematic. But yeah, I mean I enjoy working out when I'm in that mindset, but I'm just not in the mindset.
Different focus of your life right now.
Yes. Yeah. Well, see, this is very funny because for me, I want to hear about your, like the way you look at working out. But for me, it's like medicine. For me, I had to go on a run right before this because I was feeling tight in my chest and kind of antsy, and just the feeling of overwhelm. What helps me feel like I can tackle everything on my list is a good workout. I try to switch it up. I mean, I've worked out at Orange Theory. If you guys didn't already pick it up, she's a trainer at Orange Theory right now for a little bit longer. Yes. She has a career change. We'll be talking about that in a moment. But Orange Theory is like an incredible cardio and weightlifting workout. But then I swim once a week. I do yoga 2 or 3 times a week. And then I try to lift again on my own. So I like the variety. But if I don't do a cardio, oh my gosh, I had an injury last summer, which I told yes, you helped me through that.
You poor thing.
Yes, I know. You helped me. You didn't make me feel bad about it because I already felt bad enough that I overdid it. I think Orange Theory is a little bit competitive when you know the people you're working out next to. They're like, come on, Therese, you can go more. And so I was like at 12 miles an hour like a gazelle.
And
like,
you got short little legs,
yes,
girl.
Exactly.
See, I don't like that. Like, I think if someone told me like run faster, I would turn the speed down.
No, there have been times where
I would be like, you run faster.
Jen would literally click my button and go more, and I'd be like, okay, what? And then I told Shelby before this, so you're very inspirational when I take your classes because you always have quotes. You're like, remember what you came here for.
Yeah.
And so I'll like repeat some of your quotes in my head when I'm about to give up.
Good.
Or I'll even like chant to myself, like, I will die on this treadmill before I give up. Like I always say, I will die before I give up on this. So anyways, I overdid it, and then I had a limp for a month. And during that month, I was not
She was
well.
down.
Yeah.
She was down.
People would ask how I was doing, and I would just start crying. I'd be like, I'm stuck inside my body. And so anyways, I use it as like a steam release. Like I need it to get it out. So for me, it's one of those like non-negotiables that I've created a habit, which I really want to talk about with habits with you because you are next level in the best way. But like working out used to be something I tried to do a couple times a week, but now it's every morning, 5 times a week at least. I try to do more like 6. But it's not always intense.
Damn.
Right.
Yeah, for those watching the YouTube, I am going to give you guys a little flexation, but
I like during today, I've been sweating like all day because I've been on my feet all day. So then I'm so tired, like,
yes.
Because my job is so physical, it's like, I don't want to work out then.
Right.
Like, I feel like I've like exerted all my calories.
Yes.
Like, I don't know what to do about that because I'm like tired.
That's interesting because when I work out, I get more energy. I feel like everything is clearer. I definitely
like my legs like hurt and my feet like hurt. So then I don't want to do anything.
I just want to make you drink a big cup of water. Have you been hydrated today?
Yeah, I drink a lot.
Are we dehydrated?
I don't know.
Do we need to take a water break?
I need you to analyze my health.
Right?
We'll set up an appointment.
I got you.
So what does working out do for you? What keeps you motivated to get up every single day? And I know
at 4.
No, 3:30 in the morning.
But that's work. That's work.
Do you plan to keep doing that after your career change?
No. So I actually used to be like the biggest morning person. And North Carolina, so we lived an hour away from my studio. So it was 90 minutes, then we moved, right? We lived an hour away. I would close Monday nights, not get home till like almost 9 o'clock and have to be back there at 4:30 a.m. the next day. I wouldn't go to bed till like 11, get up at 3. And I just did that. But at the time, like Tim was deployed, so I was just by myself. And I was like, yeah, I can do whatever. Like I'm living on my own time. And then COVID hit and like my whole schedule shifted, and then got out here and I wasn't opening anymore just based on like the schedule that was available. And Tim's schedule shifted to later in the evening. So then I would like stay up late because he was getting home late. And then I'd have to try to get up early once openings became available. And so now I'm like, I don't think I am a morning person anymore, which is so weird to say.
Wow.
Tim thinks I'm not a morning person and never have been. And I'm like, I think you're lying to me.
So
I'm not.
Yeah. But one of the things I thought about, we read all these books and hear about all these top performer people. They wake up at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
It's super wild. But I think if you're staying up super late, you stay up until like 3 a.m. So like,
Sometimes.
what's the difference? What's the difference? Whether you stay up super late. The whole thing is like people like to be up when everyone else is sleeping.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if you're a morning or night person.
It's whenever you're going to be the most productive, have the most creative energy, the most energy in your day. If that's not 3 a.m., don't get up at 3 a.m.
Yeah,
If you thrive at midnights, do your work at midnight.
Yeah, it kind of flip-flops for me, but I like being a morning.
Yes.
I think I'm a morning
I love a
person.
slow morning. Like I like waking up, enjoying a cup of coffee, reading a book. Like that's my thing. I get up extra early on the mornings that I open to just sit there with my coffee and my book and read before I pour into everybody else for the day. Because it like kind of gets my mind right. Even if it's only 5 minutes of reading, I'm like, okay, I took time for me. I sat with my dogs, had a cup of coffee, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go.
Yeah. You have a creature of habit. Is that the right term?
I thrive on routine.
Yes. And you're on Instagram, which
Yeah, your Instagram is pretty big.
Tell us about it.
Well,
How did
you like, did you always plan on going into growing a following there, or was that like a goal of yours, or did it just kind of happen naturally?
I think it was a goal at one point when fitness social media became a thing. I was like, yeah, I would love to build a following. I used to post every day, every single day. I think it was before stories, like a feed post every day. And it'd be like a novel.
Yeah.
Like who even read that? So it was like a novel. Yeah.
Some people did.
But I grew at one point to over 10,000. And then I just like dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
When things got hard. And I was like, and we were moving. And I was like, I don't know that I want to do this anymore. And social media started to shift too.
Yeah.
And then I pulled away from it during COVID because like social media was so polarizing. It was like a mental nightmare, right?
Yeah.
And so then finally got back into it because I'm like, this is a platform that I can use for good, right? And like there's people on here who need what I have, even if some days I feel like a major imposter. I'm like, I still have things that are different than other people in the fitness space, And like Tim says, I'm very relatable. He's like, you're not someone who's like, I'm in fitness full time, but like it's a full time job. Like it's not like I just like work out and like do online client check-ins all day. Like I'm at a physical gym, like working 8, 9, 10 hours depending on the day. And then so I have to, meal prep just like the other person. I have to plan my workouts just like anybody else. So it's like that kind of is the piece that I try to share too, and like share the highs and the lows.
Yeah.
I think it's easy to see like people that look so picture perfect on social media. And it's like, that's not the case. Like I might look like I'm motivated to work out every day. Half the days I'm like dragging my butt.
And I like that you always post, you're like, oh, it was really hard to get in today, but progress over perfection, or what are some, you have,
for me,
it's
discipline equals freedom is the biggest one.
That isn't
or
that
like
from
do it
a
anyway.
That
Yeah.
one.
So Jocko Willink, I don't know if you know who that is.
No.
He is a
Jocko.
former Navy SEAL.
Oh.
Super badass dude. Yeah. So
Okay.
I don't know if I can swear.
Oh yeah. That's a fine. That's a fine.
Okay. Super cool dude and former Navy SEAL. And he has written 2 books. One is primarily about mindset. I would say it's called Extreme Ownership. It's just like taking extreme ownership of everything in your life, including like how you show up to the things that nobody else sees. So like he gets up at 4:30 every single morning to work out and posts a picture of his watch. If you go to his social media, it's like a picture of his watch every single day. He'll get up at 2 in the morning to train.
But you do that
travel.
too. You do that too. You always take pictures of your daily habits every single day.
Yeah.
And do you do it for your own accountability or to show people like habits are good?
I think both. Like to show people that like, I'm still here even though I didn't want to be today.
Yeah.
Right. So one of his main quotes is discipline equals freedom. And I'm like, that makes so much sense because like it's, for me, it's not motivation anymore. It's discipline. Like you can never rely on motivation. Motivation is like your flaky friend, right? So just leave them in the dust and it ebbs and flows, right?
That is such a huge thing. There's another book that I feel like you always quote, Atomic Habits.
Yes.
I purposely finished that book
Yes.
before today because when I was listening to it, the audiobook version, I was like, this really sounds like Liv. And a lot of the things, even Emily from Orange Theory is reading the book now too. But I felt like that book kind of changed the game for me because I feel like I used to rely on motivation a lot too. But now I'm trying to build daily habits. I printed out a habit tracker.
I love it.
I can send you. I made it on Canva.
Ooh.
So yeah, I can share that PDF. But there's a quote on the bottom. It says, "A goal without plans is just a wish." That's one of my favorite quotes. Also,
love it.
But your habits. What are your habits every single morning? What's your morning routine?
Well, right now it's hard because my schedule changes every single day. So that I think that's been one of my struggles recently is I don't have a set routine. And so in the morning, I'll for sure wake up like an hour before I need to leave the house to have time for coffee, time for a book, let the dogs out, sit with the dogs, get ready and go. Like I don't like a rushed morning because it makes my entire day feel chaotic. And so I'm like, I have control over my morning. And so regardless of what time I wake up, 3:15 or 6:15, it's like I wake up an hour before I have to do anything. Coffee, book, dogs, protein coffee, get ready, head out the door. Then I go to work, whatever, depending on when I get back from work. My biggest thing is like on days that I'm so tired and I've been on my feet all day or was up super early and it's been a 12-hour day and I'm like, the last thing I want to do is move my body right now. I make it a non-negotiable, come inside, put my stuff down, change clothes if I need to, and I go on a walk.
Wow.
I walk almost every single day.
Even in the dead of winter, she walks.
Yeah. So 75 Hard started that, which I know you want to chat about.
Yes.
Wow.
But I still walk almost every single day because it is the one thing. So I always say action brings motivation.
That's so true.
Because it does. Getting up and moving and doing whatever action it is going to bring you the motivation to keep doing something else. Even if it's something as small as like putting the freaking dishes away.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm like, I know I need to work out or I know I need to do all these things around the house, I make myself go for a walk because it's time outside, which is important. I'm moving my body. It's a time to like mentally reset. Sometimes I walk in silence. Sometimes I listen to music. Sometimes
what about in the
podcast.
rain?
I hate walking in the rain, so I don't really do that anymore.
Okay.
But 75 Hard, I did. So going on a walk is like the biggest thing. And then you finish the walk, whether it's 20 minutes or 45, and you come back, you're like, okay, yeah, I'm ready to do this. And you just kind of get yourself in the headspace to like, I'm going to put the dishes away. I'm going to do the laundry. I'm going to get a 20-minute lift in. And so it's like something is better than nothing. And action brings motivation. Like you cannot rely on that. You have to have the willpower and the discipline to get yourself up and moving. And so that's why I like discipline equals freedom, because if you can be disciplined in your life, you're going to have freedom in so many other areas.
I feel changed.
Good.
What changes, Shelby? What changes are you gonna make?
I'm gonna go for a walk when I get home.
Good.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna send you a picture when I'm at the gym.
Okay, good.
Yeah, no,
Accountability.
Wait,
it's
didn't we
huge.
do that one time? Didn't I like send you a video or you posted on your story? You're like, I'm going for a walk.
Yes, and then
It's
you
like,
tagged
me
me.
too.
You tagged me.
Yeah. I was like, I need to, and you're like, send me a pic.
Yeah.
And then
You tagged me in your story.
Liar.
I don't know if I did, but I might have.
You did.
I probably went the next day.
It might have been the next day.
And I was like, sorry, I forgot to send this picture.
Yeah, 75 Hard.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us, what is the 75 Hard?
Yeah, so 75 Hard, it's technically a mental toughness challenge, but it's very much physical. So there are, I think, 6 components. It's 2 workouts a day. One has to be outside. They both have to be a minimum of 45 minutes. Okay, and outside is rain, shine, thunderstorm, regardless.
Snowstorm.
Tornado.
Use your best judgment. And
You can just stand outside, right? Tough it out for 45.
Follow a diet. And that could be whatever you want to choose. But like if you're going to follow a macro-based approach, you can't fill your macros with like M&Ms and Pop-Tarts. Drink a gallon of water a day. Take a progress picture every day. Read 10 pages. And I'm pretty sure that's it.
And no mess ups. Like if you mess up, you start over.
Oh, and no alcohol.
Ooh.
Yeah, so there's the 75 soft though that people have they drink alcohol. What I've heard.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
The guy who created 75 Hard, he's actually like the founder or CEO of First Form, Andy Frisella. So he started 75 Hard 2019. And if you listen to his podcast, he has 2 podcasts about it. And it's like, you can't adapt 75 Hard because he's like, it's not 75 Hard. He's like, 75 Hard is 75 Hard. So like, don't change the program. So
That
he
is so
hates like the 75
I'm
soft.
sure.
And the 30-day hard, he's like, that's not the program.
Yeah.
That's
And
so
so,
crazy. Like,
in
wow.
my mind, I'm like, I can't do that. I have to do 75 days.
Yeah.
And if you fail, if you miss one thing, like the thing that failed me one of the times was like missing a progress picture. You have to start over.
Oh
So you could do the
gosh.
entire day. You could have like missed 5 ounces of water and technically have to start over. Now that comes down to an integrity thing. Do you actually want to start over?
Oh my gosh.
I couldn't sleep at night. I'd be like, did I take my
Yes.
picture?
So they have like an app that you can download and it's a checklist. So that's what I did. You probably saw me posting it every single day. So I would follow the checklist to ensure that I got everything done for the day. The first time I tried 75 hours, I should have done it during like COVID because my gym was shut down for 7 months. So I should have done it in 2020. I didn't.
Yeah.
I technically did it like without doing it. And so then I started it February 1st of 2021, but we were literally moving like a month later. I'm like, I can totally do this. I think I got to March 1st, the day that we moved, and like didn't get a workout in early enough before we left. So then we finally get to Tennessee. It's like 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't done anything for the day. I had a meltdown. I was like, Tim, I'm just going to stop. I'm going to retry like once we're settled in.
Yeah.
That retry didn't come till January of next year.
So you didn't just want to chug 100 ounces of water?
No, I didn't want to work out.
Yeah.
And the day doesn't end until you are done with everything. So even like if the clock hits midnight, if you're still up, you can still complete your tasks. But the hard thing about the workouts, they can't be back to back. So I would have to like 11 o'clock at night, I would have had to go on a 45-minute walk, taken a break, and then like gone on another walk. I'm like, I'm not doing this.
Wild.
We're somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Like I'm worried about my safety at this point.
Oh my God.
I'm driving for
Someone
like 12
tries to abduct
hours.
you. No, sorry, I have a 75 hour
75 hard, man.
Put me down.
So I stopped. I failed, right? And then I didn't end up retrying till January of 2022 because I had like reached such a low basically mentally that I was like, I don't know the way out of this. I was like, I don't want to do medication. I was like still too like shy to go talk to anybody. So I'm like, what do I know that helps me? And it's always been fitness. So I was like, I'm just going to go for 75 hard. So it was January 9th of 2022. Bitter cold. I think it was like 2 degrees outside.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to go for a walk.
And that was
that was it. That was day one. And so I walked in 0 degree temps. I walked in negative degree temps.
Do you take ice baths?
No.
Okay, I got
Basically.
Yes, basically.
I mean, yeah.
It's the same thing. There was this person on Instagram. I don't know. The algorithm really hits me in the heart. But I found this guy who did ice baths every day, but his ice bath was completely frozen because he was in Canada.
Yes.
So he would
I saw that.
throw a weight on it.
I think I
you know
followed
the one.
this
He'd be
guy.
like,
Yeah.
day 100, or his Canadian accent. It was just day 100.
Yeah.
He'd throw a weight in, and then he'd get in, and he would just with his hat on.
Yes.
And
Yes,
he-
I've seen it
Does
too.
he have like a motivational quote or like a little blurb that he says?
No,
every
he
time?
would just look in the camera and be like, "You are what you think about."
I think I follow this guy. I can't think of his name, but I think I follow him.
Yes, he was so interesting. I just loved every single day was the same where he takes the weight
Yes.
and not even the weight would break through the ice.
Yeah.
It was,
could get literally frozen in there. That's like a hazard.
yeah, no, it was a little wild. It was a little wild. I did one
Yeah.
ice bath this past summer during the
Yeah.
CrossFit Games. There was like an ice bath company, and I actually did feel incredible the rest of the day, but it was also like 80 degrees outside.
I
That'll
did them
do
in
it.
high school.
Wow, Shelby, you're hard.
Like we would have to. Like they would tell us like,
I mean, they're great
Okay.
for recovery.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Okay, so if I'm working on hard, I should take an ice bath.
You don't have to. To each their own.
what's
Okay.
better, ice bath or hot tub?
That's a hard one.
Because we have a hot tub at our apartment.
Yeah.
I slither in there.
Yeah.
Every 3 months.
Slither in.
Slither in.
I'm such a hot tub fiend. It's hilarious.
I don't like hot tubs. I feel sick.
Oh.
It like I don't
Too
take
hot.
heat well, and
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm sweating after
Yeah.
3 minutes, and I got to get out.
I think it's personal preference. I actually don't know enough about cold exposure to like really speak on it. It feels very trendy right now. I will say that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the whole thing.
definitely.
Very trendy. Or even just like a cold shower. People talk
Yes.
about that a lot.
I think that's powerful.
Are you laughing because you can imagine me doing that?
No, because of our experience at the spa.
Oh,
Remember the spa? We went into the sauna, and then we had to go into the cold shower.
That's horrible.
Oh, wait, sorry. Yes. No. So we went to a spa in Madison, and Shelby does not like to relax. And it was very.
Okay.
I do.
I added onto the package a 45-minute sauna and cold shower
cold shower.
experience.
Okay.
And
So it's me and her, like a couple's room.
Yeah,
We're like sharing the shower room. We're like, okay.
yeah, we weren't like butt naked or anything, but
We had our robes on, and
Okay.
then like you couldn't like see in if you were in the sauna. So we'd be like, okay, like you stay in there. I'm gonna go cold shower, and we'd take it off.
and we'd
we're
have like
"Ah."
5 showers coming at us. It'd be like
cold.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
just in every direction, cold shower. But
And Therese was like sitting there like, I'm like, when is this over? Like, I gotta get out of here. I got
Oh my
stuff to do
gosh.
today.
Yeah.
Like, when is this
yeah,
gonna be done?
Shelby, that's when I realized Shelby doesn't know how to relax. It was because she's like, so how long do we have in here? I'm like, well, I did pay for the full hour. So I'm thinking I did something good for Shelby. And she's like, but she
The
always-
most stressed she's ever been.
Yeah.
I didn't like that
And that's
one.
when I was
didn't
just
that
like,
one.
And when we got her past that initial freak out of like not working, we actually had a very nice conversation. So I'm looking forward to another spot.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
We did. But anyways, the whole cold shower thing is very trendy.
Very trendy.
They like, what's the term people are like, oh, don't let your inner biatch like, stop you, right?
Yeah.
That's a term.
They call it like your B voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're like, I don't want to wake up right now. They're
Yeah.
like, silence your inner biatch.
I'm just learning so much fitness girly stuff today.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, I am.
So I girl, look at that muscle.
I'm flexing for
I
those
would
who
show
are
you mine, but it stretched out the sweatshirt.
on her new merch.
It's stretched out my
Look at
sweatshirt
that.
already, like my arms when I flex. So I won't do it
You're
now.
popping out of your clothes.
I am. I won't do it now.
I love it.
Anyways, so do you take cold showers?
I don't. I do not like cold.
Mm-mm.
I will walk outside in the cold all day. No, maybe not all day, but like I will walk outside in the cold.
Yeah.
Cold showers, hate it.
Yeah.
I tried once for like 20 seconds.
It
was
takes your
miserable.
breath away.
Yes. But that's the
It
point.
does.
And then it's gaining the breath control and having the mindset, like working on your mindset to be able to handle the cold exposure. Like that's really, I think, what people like
Yeah.
is having that control over their body. When your literal instincts start to freak out, right?
Yeah.
Your lizard brain's like, get me out of here, get me out of here.
Oh my
And you
gosh.
have to
I follow
pull
the
from
instinct.
Yeah, you do.
I get out.
Shelby
Yeah.
would dip her toe and be like, nah.
Nah. So
I gotta
yeah.
bake.
Cold exposure, it feels very trendy, but I think for some people, like it serves its place.
Yeah.
And like if they like that as part of their routine and it helps with their recovery, then by all means go for it.
Yeah, the mental toughness. of
Yeah.
that. Even our friend Elliot, he bought a bag of ice from the gas station and put it in his bathtub. It's like, my bathtub is my sanctuary.
Yes. It's a lot of people do. It's what a lot of people do.
my
Yeah, I'm like,
sanctuary.
if I can't make a nice ice in my freezer, I'm not gonna put it in my
Yeah.
tub.
We don't even have an ice maker, so
Yeah, I have the little things you put 12 cubes at a
not
time.
me. That would take a
That
while
would take a
to
long
make your
time.
bath.
Yeah, it would make it like a lukewarm bath.
Yeah. Cold exposure, mental toughness. And that's definitely what 75 Hard was about, was like reframing your mindset. So I look at like my progress pictures every day, right?
Mhm.
There wasn't like I didn't follow I wasn't like trying to cut calories or anything. I just was eating very clean, if you will.
Yeah.
And got to the end. And like for me, the biggest change was in my eyes. Like I
Mm.
literally looked like I came back to life.
Your eyes.
That's
my
cool.
eyes. So I have it posted on my Instagram.
like
Yes.
the purpleness or
Like just my eyes in my first picture looked so dark and like lifeless. And that's how I felt, which sounds so dramatic, but like that's how I felt.
Oh.
And looking at my pictures 75 days later, it's like the life was just like brought back into my face.
Yeah. Well, they say,
That's so cool.
and when I say there's professors, universities, they say that happiness is the pursuit of a goal.
Mhm.
So, but then how do you keep yourself going
Right.
and not drop off and go, swing the other way once you're
Right.
done with something? There's only been, I've never done the 75 hard, although I think it's really cool and probably will because I just like to try things.
Challenge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Challenge myself. But the Whole 30 was a really trendy thing
Mhm.
too. I did it because I had a lot of gut issues
Okay.
and I tried everything and I needed to go on a diet called the paleo autoimmune diet. So I was like, okay, that's the Whole 30, but a little bit more. I didn't go that extreme. That's very difficult. You can eat like 4 food groups, but did that for 30 days, went through the most terrible withdrawals. I literally was like feverish. And that apparently was a common thing. It's bad when you go cold turkey on sugar, as anyone can imagine. But after I did it, the first 2 weeks were so difficult. And that is what changed it for me because I couldn't get enough food. I didn't know what to make. So I was eating just handfuls of pistachios, just trying to like fill myself up. And finally I was like, I need to be making food that I enjoy and that looks good and looks appetizing. So that's right around when I started posting on Tricky Foods
Mhm.
because I wanted to document my healthy food. That's why I started my Instagram account, was to document my healthy food for the Whole 30. So if you go back to like my first picture, it's like salmon or like a potato, a blurry picture of a sweet potato, like Whole 30, day 4. This is terrible. It was just, yeah. So that was the only time I did something like that. But after 2, 3, 4 weeks, like I sounded like a Midwestern, 2, 3, 4 weeks. I felt incredible. My
Mhm.
energy levels, they call it tiger blood for the Whole 30, where it's like you just feel lighter and stronger and clearer. And I don't know, a piece of just like accomplishing a goal is just a really great feeling.
Yeah.
Do you have a recommendation for someone like me who is very reliant on sugar? I mean, I know I am. And
Yeah. Well, you kind of need
Or
to
people-
for your
yeah.
job.
people like that, like I've tried, and a couple years ago, I made it like almost 3 weeks. I literally didn't have like any additional sugar, like
Right.
none. But I couldn't like keep that going. That was like during COVID when I didn't really like have to. But now like I have to try stuff. Like even when I'm like really trying to be good, like some stuff I like literally have to.
Yeah.
What do you recommend for people who are like feeling like, oh, I can't do this, or kind of stuck
Trying
in
to start something new.
Yeah, trying to start something new.
A new healthy habit.
Especially
Get
sugar.
started.
Like I don't, or any kind of addiction, caffeine, sugar, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, what would you recommend? I have a thought on this, but I want to hear.
I think some people, they think it's like you have to cut it out entirely. Like it's black or white. It's all or nothing.
That's what I did.
And I find that that's where most people fail. And that's where I failed in the past too, is like I'm all in or I'm all out. And it's like everything in moderation. Like I think certain parts of life need to be balanced. And I think food is one of it because like there's food that's, I say it's like there's food that's good for your body, right? And your health. And then there's food that's good for the soul. Like sometimes sugar and sweets are just good for the soul. And the more we tell ourselves we can't have things, the more we want things. And it leads to these intense cravings and then feelings of restriction, which then can turn into worse habits. So moderation, 80-20, if you guys have heard of that. So like 80% good things, 20% the fun foods. And giving yourself permission to have those things, knowing that like, okay, I'm going to have some willpower. I'm going to allow myself one cookie, if you will. Because, you know, I ate really well for the rest of the day. I'm going to have this one cookie tonight and I'm going to be satisfied with that. And I think that's probably my biggest piece of advice. Anytime we go cold turkey, we want things more. We like hyper fixate on it. It's crazy. So the book Tiny Habits.
Tiny Habits.
If you read Atomic Habits, you would love Tiny Habits. And this kind of ties into that. So any habit that you want to implement, we see it as this like massive goal, right? And we think of like, what's the most dramatic way I can implement this habit in my life? Like if you don't work out at all right now, people think they have to go to the gym 6 days a week. And I'm like, no, you could go walk for 10 minutes. And that's kind of the premise of the book, Tiny Habits, is like his main example was flossing his teeth. He wanted to start flossing his teeth. So he would take out floss and floss one tooth. But like you laugh, imagine doing that and you're like, this is so dumb. Why wouldn't I just floss all of my teeth? So just telling himself he's going to floss one tooth, the task seems less daunting.
Make it so easy. They talk about that in Atomic Habits where it's like, even if you're trying to go to the gym and going there every single day, just make yourself literally drive to the gym, walk inside and walk out. That sounds really...
It sounds so dumb.
So yeah, it sounds dumb, but they say even on the days where you can't show up 100%, just showing up. The hardest part is showing up. So
I love the term lower the barrier to entry. Like we make things so hard for ourselves to start doing. And so lower the barrier to entry. What's the easiest way I can implement this habit in my life? Another example he uses, he wanted to get better at push-ups. So every time he went to the bathroom, he would do 2 push-ups after. And so one of the big things that he talks about is like make the habit small, show up however you can, and then tie it to something you're going to do. So habit stacking. I love habit stacking. So he would stack that habit on top of going to the bathroom. And you go to the bathroom multiple times a day. So 2 push-ups turn into 5, turn into 10.
Or what if you drink a cup of water every time you go to the bathroom?
Yes, you could do that.
I drink a lot of water. You're looking at me like I don't.
Some people that struggle with like coffee, they're like, all I drink is coffee at my desk. I'm like, okay, well, every time you finish a coffee, you have to have a glass of water. And it's like those little things make a difference. So tiny habits, habit stacking are going to be huge. And same thing with like the motivation and getting into working out is maybe even just put on your shoes when you come home. Have the intention to put the shoes on, right? Or lay out the clothes and put the clothes on and then you can just take them off. But 9 times out of 10, you're going to put those clothes on and be like, I mean, I'm dressed. I might as well go. And then once you're going, okay, I'm going to walk for 5 minutes. 5 minutes eventually is going to turn into 10. 10 turns into 20. I actually got my mother-in-law on this. She started walking. She was like, I'm going to walk for 10 minutes a day every morning, 4:45 a.m. because she works like 12-hour days. And I see her walk come through and now she's up to like 20 minutes. I'm like, look at you go. But the habit just naturally starts to build because it becomes part of your day. Like it becomes part of who you are. And
your identity.
Exactly. And it's not like I saw some video the other day. It's like this girl's like, I feel like I have to go to the gym. Like I want to be a gym girly, but I feel like I have to go to the gym. And it made me think, I'm like, I used to be that way. And it's now like, going to the gym or working out is just part of who I am. It's just part of my day. It's like brushing my teeth. So I think any habit you want to establish and implement, that's kind of the mindset you need to have is I'm not making myself do this because I feel like I have to. It's just part of who I want to become. That makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. Atomic Habits, though. That book was, and it was such an easy listen. It was only 5 hours to listen to. I know. So that book, game changer.
I read it and I was
You
bored.
read it?
I read like 3/4 of it.
Okay, we'll see. But if you listen to it, it's a little bit probably easier because a lot of those books are like textbooky. It's like
it was very like that, and I just thought it was like the same of like they could have gotten it done in half the amount of time.
Oh, see, I liked
so
it.
I couldn't keep reading it.
So, Liv, one of the things I want to get your take on. So, when I'm in Orange Theory, okay, I'm running on the treadmill, I'm about to give up. And then I tell myself no and I break through, okay? And I'm super proud of it. Looking further, looking at life and thinking about habits or just anything in life, how do you keep yourself going to the point of a breakthrough? Have you experienced that? How do you push to the end of something?
Yeah, it's hard. You have to be in the right state of mind to know that those periods are actually moving you forward. Like, have you seen that image? It's like the guy's like mining gold. There's two of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the one gives up on mining, whatever. And it's like he's literally one hit away from hitting gold.
Wow.
But he gives up because he feels like he's been at this forever and things, life's against you, right? Everything's going wrong. And it's, you know that those periods are actually pushing you forward in part of the process. And they make you a stronger, more, I guess, determined person. It teaches you perseverance. And so in my life, when I've gone through periods like that, I'm like, I know that this is all for a greater reason. Like the quote, everything happens for a reason. So cliche, but I do believe in it, whether good or bad. And so I remind myself of that in those periods. I'm like, this is helping me. This is building me into who I'm meant to be. It's building my work ethic. It's building the next level version of me. I have to go through this to get to where I want to go. And so I guess it's just a mindset shift that has to take place.
I feel like that speaks to me.
Yeah. I feel changed again.
Yeah. I mean, just because we're obviously both going through our stuff with our business and you're on year 4 or going into year 5. You finished 4 years. You're on your 5th year, right? You've been at it for a while. I'm also in it for 3 years. I've been in it for 3 years. And it's like, sometimes it feels like it's getting easier. And then other times it just feels like 2 steps forward, 1.755 steps back. And it's like, when will we get our break? And I feel like we're so close, but I'll just speak for myself. I feel like I'm so close to catching my break. And then something happens. And it's like, well, I'm already this far, so I'm not going to stop. But so many times I feel like you could hit just another issue and then decide to stop. So
you simply decide not to quit.
That's what I have to tell myself sometimes when I just keep hitting roadblocks. Yeah. Because the roadblocks literally just keep getting harder and more intense and more time, more effort, more things I don't think I can do. And then I get past it.
The better you get at handling hard, the more hard you're going to get.
Yeah, that's
I heard
okay.
I heard a quote once. It really is. It's like, it's not that life gets easier. Life actually gets harder, but you get better at handling hard better.
Wow.
And so that's why things feel like, okay, I passed this mountain. Oh, I'm about to hit a higher mountain. Are
you a motivational speaker?
No, but I think it's my calling.
I literally, I'm not even joking.
That's why I take her classes.
I want you to coach me.
That's why I take her classes. I'm about to give up half the time. And she's like, remember what you came here for.
Is that what I sound like?
You have this voice. You're like, remember what you guys came here for.
I really hope it's not like that.
If that's what I sound like.
I don't think so.
So one of the things that I have been thinking about as I've begun my workout journey more seriously. So 2 years ago is when I started making it my daily habit. And I always thought to myself, working out is going to be so easy if I can just stick to it. And as time has gone on, I'm like, it is not getting any easier. It doesn't get any easier, but you go further. You can do more. You can lift more. You can run faster. But literally every single workout feels just as hard. And that was something I didn't think about because I thought anyone that was fit and that worked out, running for them is just easy. But then you push yourself more.
Yeah. I say it all the time to people, especially people that are new. I'm like, it's not that this is going to get easier. Like, I actually let them know, like, your first workout's going to feel like the hardest. And it's not that it's going to get easier, but you're going to get better. And as you get better at handling the hard things and the hard workouts. And then you reach a point that you're feeling comfortable and you're like, but it's not supposed to be comfortable. We don't work out to make it easy. We work out to do a hard thing. And so you have to keep finding ways to make it harder as you get better.
Yeah. That's why Shelby has started multiple businesses. She's like, oh, my life isn't hard enough. Let me start another business.
Much. But it's for real. Like, we get so comfortable sometimes that you get so uncomfortable because you're so comfortable.
I'll tell you, I'm very uncomfortable.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
you're growing.
Extremely uncomfortable right now.
You love that though. Just when you have a grip on your business, you start another one.
I will say, like, this week, next week, and the following week are like my busiest weeks of the year. So like,
that's true. That's true.
The May 13th weekend is just like hands down my busiest. The following weekend, we have a huge market and 3 weddings.
Wait, this episode will come out after that though.
Yeah.
So everyone
and
is
like
Shelby's
literally
still alive.
right now,
Praise God.
like I plan for the week after graduation to be sick. Like I don't take orders for a few days. The last 3 years in a row, I get like horribly sick. Like actually
I totally
badly sick.
I totally believe that. I went into such a weird funk after the December's my busiest month. And
I'm in that right now.
It took me
tough.
a long time to recover. I was not sharp.
Your body can only handle so much.
Yeah.
To the point that it actually gets sick because it's like forces you to rest.
Yeah. It feels like that's happening right now. And I'm just like, don't do it now. You can do it next week. You can't do it now. Because I don't have an option.
thing.
Like I literally don't have an option right now.
Yeah.
So anyways, that just feels nice to hear.
Okay,
that
good.
I'm just making it
intentionally
I'll
harder
get
for
through.
yourself.
Yeah. All right, Liv. So we heard from a little birdie that you're gonna have a career change coming up. So we know you work at Orange Theory right now. You do personal training, virtual and in person, right? So what's next for Liv?
Yeah. So I have been in fitness my entire career, so 8+ years, and got so comfortable to the point of feeling uncomfortable and like I needed a new challenge that I am pursuing law enforcement. So
Isn't that? I can totally see you doing that.
Yeah.
that's what everyone has said.
I would love if you pulled me over.
I'm gonna like
Like,
search
I'd be
the
Somebody
plate.
like cuff me, take me.
Like I'd be scared, but like I just feel like you're just so like calming, but like also like disciplined. Like
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I feel like you're like the perfect cop.
yeah.
That's kind of my hope is like we need good people in that profession right now. And I like that it's a hands-on job and it requires you to be obviously in good physical shape, but it's also like you're working with people all day, every day. And we need people to have good interactions with them. And you have a great community behind you too. And there's like a statistic, the average person in their lifetime interacts with a cop like 2 to 4 times in their life. Yeah, the average person.
I've already had a lot more interactions.
And I could be butchering this a little bit, so maybe we should fact check that. But 2 to 4 times on average, they have an interaction with a cop. And imagine having the opportunity to make that positive. Because most of the times these people are having interactions that are like very traumatic, right? A death or whatever is going on.
Yeah.
And so imagine being able to be that person who can like talk them down or keep them in a good headspace and turn it into a positive.
Wow, you're
as positive as an experience as possible.
Man, that is I couldn't. Can you imagine me as a cop?
Can you imagine me?
And I'd be like, hands up, and they'd be like, no, and I'd be like, okay.
But I do credit actually Orange Theory quite a bit for helping me learn how to interact with and converse with people. You know, I say I work in the fitness industry, but it's the people industry. And I think policing is the same thing. It's about the people. And it's just a purpose that's so much greater than myself.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's the big driver towards the change.
Do you plan on like continuing fitness on the side? Maybe training people on the side?
Yeah,
that kind of thing?
That's not even on the side. Is it on the side? technically?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll still continue online stuff for sure, just because that's stuff that I can do from home and then kind of see where it grows. But I feel like my heart is pulling me in this different direction. But I obviously don't want to leave fitness entirely.
Yeah.
And we'll see like a couple years down the line how I'm feeling. But I like that I can try to balance both.
Okay, the last thing I want to ask you is, can you leave us and everyone that's listening with a couple of quotes? You already left us with about 100.
Yeah,
but
there's like 500 in there.
Are there any quotes that have been speaking to you lately that you just love?
I feel like I go back to the same ones all the time. It's not supposed to be easy, is what I remind myself all the time. Life or workouts. Discipline equals freedom. The simplest one, the shortest one you'll ever hear in your life is good. Good. It's also from Jocko, so you should look it up. Look up good, Jocko Willink. Every bad thing that happens in your life, you turn around and say good. Or every stressful situation, you turn around and say good. Because it's going to move you forward. Like if it wasn't for that situation, you might not reach a certain point in your life, right? Like look back on everything in your life that's happened to you. You wouldn't be where you are right now if it hadn't happened.
Can you even
When
imagine?
you call me crying,
Yeah.
I'm going to say
good.
Right back
That's
at you.
all I'm
Shelby,
saying.
right back at you. I just think about even the things I went through this week, the things I'd never gone through before. If I got off the phone and said, good, I guess it would be, it would be a total mindset shift.
It is. It's kind of like seeing these things as like being grateful for them almost. But I'm also like, I go into like my deep dark inner cave
Mhm.
when I train and like when I really need a push. And so I kind of in my head, I'm like a little aggressive with myself, right? But one thing that helps me too is always reminding myself like I'm capable of so much more than I think. Your body's going to quit or your mind will quit way before your body ever will. Right. So the body's not going to go where the mind won't take it. So it all starts up here.
Yes, you say that all the time.
The body won't go where the mind won't take it. So you have to decide, I'm going to push to this next level.
Oh my gosh.
Whatever that looks like for you. Is it in a workout? Is it in life?
Oh,
I just need like 1% of your brain and my brain.
Oh my
I
gosh.
just need it, like, I need it transferred.
Well, you can follow her on Instagram. Liv, what's your Instagram?
It's at Olivia Alyssa, 2 L's, 2 S's.
Okay, at Olivia Alyssa. So everyone needs to follow at Olivia Alyssa because she posts inspirational content. She posts her daily habits. Are you taking clients for personal training?
Online. Yes.
Online. Okay, you guys. So get her while she's hot because honestly, after this drops,
She's
might
gonna have
a
full calendar. I feel uplifted.
Yeah, I kind of feel like
I'm not even being
lighter.
dramatic. Do you?
No, I
do.
knew that I would.
I actually do. I'm not kidding. I feel really good.
I'm so glad.
Yeah. So you guys can catch more of this. What I'm pointing to Liv right now on her Instagram. Are there any other places that we don't know about?
Just Instagram. I am an OG with social media.
Love that.
I've dabbled in TikTok. I don't understand it.
Me neither.
Yeah, well,
I'm trying.
We're trying.
Even Shelby.
I'm trying.
We're trying.
Yeah, well, you can find Screw It, Let's Do This on TikTok,
Okay.
Instagram, YouTube,
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere that you listen to your podcast. YouTube is the best though, because then you can watch all of us and you can also see how ripped Liv is.
and Therese.
And me. So thank you everyone. If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd love if you would subscribe, if you give us a rating, if you tell your mom about it,
My mom won't listen to this, so
my
try to tell your mom.
is listening. Actually, right now, I'm sure she'll be listening.
Hey, Sue.
Hey, Sue. And yeah, thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you next Wednesday.
And thank you, Olivia.
Yeah, thanks, Liv.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yes. All right. Peace out, everyone. Bye.